over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. There's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. I'll wake up in a nobody knows the words to this song.
That's true.
And something or other, I don't really know the words to this song. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Okay, let's try another one. Let's see. What's a good one? Sail on, silver bird. Sail on by. Your time has come to shine. Daniel Black is on his way. See how they shine. Oh, when darkness comes and friends just can't be found like a bridge over. Who cares? Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Now, please welcome NANABOOZHOO. Take it away, baby.
Miigwachuni Mushane. Hey. Okay. The magic of technology. How you doing, Daniel? Bonjour. Welcome to the show. We're on 5 minutes early because I was starting to freak myself out when I watch that clock too closely. It's like, okay, 5 more minutes. And I start getting nervous. And like, part of the fun of YouTube is that you don't have to, go right on at a certain time. It isn't like the old days when you'd have to wait around. You'd like schedule your whole day around the TV. Like, oh, yeah, this show's coming on. We better make sure we're at home. And then, invariably somebody would call. It's like, all right, Michael Jackson's going to be on the Grammys tonight. He's going to win everything. Let's watch his thing. And then, your stupid friend calls right at the wrong time. And you realize later that was the moment that Michael Jackson did the moonwalk for the first time. And you're like, doggone it, man. I missed the moonwalk. Everybody the next day is talking about, did you see Michael Jackson last night on the Grammys? He was dancing, and at first I thought he was like on some sort of conveyor belt. He did a moonwalk. However that goes. And in the old days, if you missed it on TV, you would thought, well, I guess I'll never see that again. That was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We could have saw this thing on TV. It was live. But now, it wasn't important enough to be on the news the next day or anything. But we didn't know that one day you could just go to YouTube and pull up any old video that's ever been broadcast. People are sick of watching Michael Jackson moonwalk. So yeah. So today is what is it today? Wednesday? Abatuse. Welcome to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, by the way. Current viewers and hypothetical viewers in the future. You know what I was thinking, sweetie?
What's that?
We do this live stream, but only half the people that watch it every day actually watch it live. We get just as many people who watch it throughout the day who aren't here or are still asleep right now. Because, it's 6 a.m. here in Minnesota. And Daniel Black's calling for the roll call. Roll call, BOOZHOO crew. Show yourselves. No. So whatever. So we, it's good to come on around 6. We don't want to be too late, I guess. But if we come on a little early, that's okay. So today, our Ojibwe word of the day. On this beautiful Abatuse morning, on this beautiful Abatuse Gigajebe, Wednesday morning in northern Minnesota. Mazinabi Ike Winini, an artist. Mazinabi Ike Winini. What is an artist? An artist, well, the word, it comes from somebody who draws. It's like, technically, an artist in Ojibwe translated is, drawing a mazinabi is to draw. Mazinabi, if you like to draw. Mazinabi igun is a drawing. And a mazinabi ike winini is a drawing man. But you can be a woman and be an artist. I don't know any. But in theory, there were women artists too. Isn't that weird? What's that? I can't think of a single female artist right now. I mean, I'm not counting singers. I mean, yeah, there's an art. I mean, I suppose being Madonna is an artist, but, somebody who, creates art, like drawing or painting or sculptor. How come there aren't more women artists? I don't know. Huh. That just occurred to me. When you're in school, during my days, when you're a little kid, they're always like, oh, you know what? You're an artist. Everybody's an artist. They should really quit saying that to these kids. Not everybody's an artist. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, kids. Actually, most kids are artists because they draw for fun. They express themselves when they're inspired. I'm not saying their skill is as great as it'll ever be. But the problem is when you're a little kid and you go to kindergarten and the teacher wants to make you feel special. She says, everybody's an artist. And you got to go, okay, wait a second, lady. You're a kindergarten teacher. You are not an artist. If you were, you wouldn't be working at a school. Hey, BOOZHOO, Jessica. BOOZHOO's here. Jessica's here, sweetie. BOOZHOO, Jessica. Natasha says, yo. Just like Jim, yo. BOOZHOO, Jim. We're talking about artists here. And so, but it isn't just that. Of course, you're going to encourage a kid who does art and tell him he can be an artist. But when I was a kid, they came up with collage. They said, oh, this is going to be art. We're going to get a magazine and we're going to cut out pictures and then paste them pictures on a piece of paper, hang them up on a wall, and it's called collage. And so that was like, a kid's first sort of, hey, man, that's a kind of a shortcut to making art. Because sure enough, you have something you can hang up. There's a little bit of design balance, in there. It's not bad like less than once. But that was invented by Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol. The first artist that I knew the name of, weirdly enough, was Andy Warhol. Because, I went to kindergarten in the early 70s. And that's when they were trying to brainwash all the kids in believing that, paint can prints of Campbell's soup, what is that, soup? Campbell's soup. Oh, look, this is a painting. It's like, no, it's not. This is a print of a picture of a Campbell soup can. I mean, yeah, I guess you reproduced it. Whatever. It's hardly, the statue of David. But then they said, oh, yeah, well, this is called collage, and you can do this, and this will be art. And then, oh, look at this. We're pulling out the finger paints. Come on, kids. Put on that big old shirt you brought from home. We're gonna put it on backwards on you because you're an artist. That's a weird thing, too. You bring a shirt from home so you don't get your clothes dirty. And then they put it on you backwards. So all these kids are painting with Actually, they're not even painting. They don't even give them brushes. They're like, just smear your fingers in the paint here. All of us together. We're going to do a finger painting because this is abstract art. And everyone's kind of like looking around going, I'm only 6, but my 5-year-old brother could do better than us. But, you grow up, and then every motel and hotel you go to, what do you see? Abstract art. Oh, look, just colors kind of blended together. I guess that's art. So a person who blends colors together is an artist. Hey, BOOZHOO, Shady Side Turtle. Shady Side's here. BOOZHOO! Natasha says hello. What I was thinking about, and then, the next artist they teach you about is Van Gogh. Van Gogh. He's famous because he cut his ear off. He liked some girl, and because he was a weirdo, depressed, crazy, drunk artist. I wouldn't even call him an artist. He was just a painter. He never sold any paintings because his paintings were very amateurish. But the colleges all said, oh no, he was a genius. Look, he painted Starry Night. Who could do that? It's like, who could swirl yellow on blue? Everybody. That's not what stars look like, by the way. Oh no, it doesn't matter. You have to use your imagination. Okay. So they tell us that a genius named Vincent van Gogh was in love with a woman. So he went to the bar where she worked, and she said, I love you so much, I cut off my ear, and I want you to have this. So when I'm not around and you want to talk to somebody, talk to my ear. You'll always have something to listen to you. But then, so he goes home thinking he had just wooed a woman with his bloody ear. And then he paints himself, his self-portrait. I should have pulled up that picture. Self-portrait is him with a big old bandage around his head. Because, he wasn't embarrassed by that. That was like the worst gift you could ever think of. Of all the bad gifts you could give a girlfriend. Hey, man, I got you a copy of First Blood on DVD. That would be a bad Valentine's gift. First Blood on DVD. But instead, it's, here's my bloody ear. I love you. You want to go out? So then all these kids get an idea that, well, you know what? To be an artist is to be crazy. And so, OJIBWE winini. It's a weird thing. I don't know. You're an artist, aren't you, Michael? Yeah, I suppose. For a long time, you didn't like even using the term artist, did you? No, I always called myself a cartoonist. I felt like saying I was an artist was pretentious or something. Really? Yeah, I don't know. And my medium was sort of cartoons. Yeah. Michael likes to draw. He's OJIBWE winini. Although you haven't been drawing at all for quite a while. Well, I drew no, you're right. I spent 1 day drawing in the last year. Yeah. Michael wrote a book of cartoons in the Ojibwe language, or gibberish, and I pulled up some cartoons of his. OJIBWE winini. This isn't really a commercial for Michael's books. I know that's kind of how he started. The whole BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast started as a it's the Ojibwe word of the day. And by the way, click the link below to buy books by Michael Lyons. Are you tired of not having a book on Ojibwe language with an alien on the cover? How many times have you said to yourself, just in your day-to-day, I wish I had a book with cartoons in the Ojibwe language with a creepy alien on the cover? And I would like it to be called something kind of disrespectful, like gibberish. Oh, really? You think it sounds like gibberish? That's our language. That's our sacred language. You should honor your elders. But so, today's Ojibwe word of the day. Boom. Mazinabi ike winini. And here's a picture of an alien, same old alien, drawing a picture of Michael. Looks just like you too. Yeah, I know. You know what I like about this painting or cartoon or whatever? It's got hidden meanings in it. I won't go into it again, but you look, he's on a spaceship, right? And in the background you can see the Earth. The ball Earth floating in the vastness of space from evolution and the Big Bang. Scientific fact. But that window is kind of screwy. It's like it's bending the wrong way. It's really hard. And Michael, is it really hard to draw the inside of a curved ship like a spaceship? Yeah, I didn't mean for that window to look that way. It didn't turn out right, but in the end it did turn out right because I think it has dual meaning. Yeah. So that window, which is supposed to be curving, towards us on the top, is actually curving away. But the hidden meaning is that's the wrong perspective on the Earth. Oh. So this is a painting about a drawing is creating Michael in front of a thing that is the wrong perspective on Earth. So I don't know, you read into it. Mazinabi ike winini. I like that one. All right. Next. Boom. Boom. Gigun. It's the suckerfish moon. This is the month, February, suckerfish moon, where we honor the suckerfish and their noble sacrifice to, feed the Anishinaabe. So this is a picture of a suckerfish. You can see she's got really, really full lips. And Gigun is a fish. This is another one of Michael's Ojibwe language cartoons. Available at Amazon.com. Ojiberish. Because choosy mothers choose Ojiberish. Are you a choosy mother? Or do you just, haphazardly buy Ojibwe language cartoon books, without checking to see if they have, fish cartoons with big lips? Okay. So here's Ojiberish Ajidamu, which means squirrel. Ajidamu, Wagonin Iwe. What is that? Wagonin Iwe. What is that? That's what Ajidamu is asking. He sees a flying saucer. He's like, Wagona Iwe. What is that? I'm just a simple squirrel. I'm climbing around on a birch tree. And, this flying saucer comes screaming by. A jidamu. There's also a misa jidamu, which means gray squirrel. A jidamu and misa jidamu. You might pronounce that differently in your neck of the woods. Canadians pronounce their Ojibwe a little different than us. This is kind of a multi-panel cartoon, more like a comic book page. It shows the caterpillar turning into a butterfly. OJIBWE is a caterpillar. And this is what it's kind of like for you kids in the audience. When you're starting out as a little kid, when you're in that first quadrant of the medicine wheel, there are 4 stages in life. And that first stage, you're you're like a caterpillar. Some of us stay caterpillars until our 20s or 30s even. In some ways, I think I was half caterpillar almost till 40. But that's when, you're definitely your own person. You're definitely a sacred being. but you're just a caterpillar. And then you cocoon yourself away. You take a long nap. And during that time, something happens. And when you emerge, you're a mamangua, a butterfly. You know, it's a good metaphor for change, you know. Because caterpillar is not really wishing that anything would change. Caterpillars got all these legs. They can crawl around. You can eat leaves. Caterpillar's all right, you know. But you can't help but change. And in that whole process, sometimes, you know, some of us right now might be feeling like caterpillars. When you know, maybe you're going to stay in for a while. Maybe you're going to spend some time by yourself. Maybe you're just going to wrap yourself in a blanket, write a journal, make a nice cup of coffee, put on some music without words. That's what helps sometimes. It's tough to to keep a train of thought if you're singing along to a song. But if you can pull up some beautiful like piano music or guitar music that you like that has no singing, then you just start talking to yourself. You know, the butterfly the butterfly becomes a butterfly and then flies. So that's what the big transition's all about. When you're a little guy and you want to be something special, you cocoon yourself away and then you emerge. And for some people, that's like becoming an artist. They go, okay, you know what? I'm going to quit. That's why we have to share our art. That's what it is. An artist becomes an artist when they start to share their stuff. And this is why I'm sharing Michael's cartoons. Anyway, Mamangua, butterfly. Butterflies free to fly. Is that it for the butterfly? Yep. Those were the OJIBWE cartoons by Michael Lyons. Available now for about, I don't know, $12 or something. I should really look that up. Maybe it's only $9. Some of the books are $9, some are $12. Maybe this one's really thick though. You know? It's just cartoons. It's not. We have another book called Like Snow on Skin. It's got our pictures on the cover, huh, sweetie? Yeah, we look cute. I know. And that's kind of a reference guide for Ojibwe. You know, if you want to look up, how do you say, you know, how you doing? But this Ojibwe is just cartoons. So if you like art, if you like brightly colored cartoons, that's the book for you. All right. So let's see who's here. Jessica says, don't miss a show either. Daniel will mark you absent. Oh, the BOOZHOO crew's talking to each other. Tell the Muckade Mushkiki Waboo maker. Tell the coffee maker. Richard doesn't take any guff, any flack. So yeah. Daniel's been up for hours. So I'm just being silly. Jessica says, butterfly in the sky. I can fly twice as high. Take a look. It's in a book by Michael Lyons. Hey, Jessica's getting were you singing that? Butterfly in the sky. I can fly twice as high. Take a look. It's in a book by Michael Lyons. So yeah, that's been a cool thing too. This last couple of months. I mean, it's so stupid that we shouldn't just be, you know, putting our arms up in like we just won the race, because we are the most pitiful little YouTube live stream that there's ever been, you know. But we're here. The show is growing, and because it's so small, it doesn't take much to just like double in size. So I choose to look at stuff like Michael, you sold twice as many books last month than you ever had before. Yeah, it was the best. Do you want to tell the audience how much money you made? Not really. You made $400. You know, I don't like to talk about money. Okay, sorry. But that's like a lot of money to us, you know. And so gibberish and the snow on skin, dog in my ingen, a lot of these children's books in Ojibwe, I think because of the podcast, are starting to sell, you know. And they've been up for, I don't know how long you've had them for sale, but some of those books you wrote 10 years ago. I just noticed that too. And I don't know. Any books you would tell them not to buy? Yeah, don't buy. I mean, you can buy it, I guess. Rockstar Cartoonist is a. Maybe I'll talk about it later. But my autobiographical comic book is, unless you're me, it's not going to be that interesting. Yeah. So otherwise, I don't know. They're all pretty good. Quit bragging about yourself. I would say the cartoon books are great. The Gibberish is really good. Dog in My Ingan, BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, and Like Snow on Skin. You can't go wrong there. And Little Cutie is a good book too. Oh, that's the other thing. Little Cutie, the story about the little teddy bear that runs away. That's in Gibberish too. He's got a version of it in there that you can read. Ah la la la, hallelujah. Jessica Gonzalez says the Reading Rainbow song. Oh, is that what that was? That had Geordie LaForge. I always thought that was weird. It was like, hey, Geordie can see. He's reading books. All right. I wonder if the Captain Picard's cool with him having his side job. Jessica says, Michael may not like to talk about making money, but it's actually really nice to see someone making some money doing something they love. And it's kind of inspiring. Yeah. Let's count this as just trying to inspire other people. Because I remember one of the things that YouTube was good for us was when it can be really frustrating to be an artist and to have no recognition. You know, I mean, it sounds egotistical, but you know, the starving artist is one thing, but the artist who nobody knows about and cares about, and he keeps on making stuff and writing songs for no one to hear and drawing cartoons that nobody will see and these dreams that he has all by himself. You know, we used to go on YouTube and be like, try to find inspiring people. And that's why the interview of the celebrity is so popular. Because these are actually people who went from, oh, I wish I could be a movie star, to being a movie star. And they go, you know what? It was really cool the day I found out I could be a movie star. So, Michael making $400 selling, it isn't just the fact that you sold your cartoons, is it? Yeah, I'll talk about it later. Okay, it's weird for me to talk on behalf of him. But, so the show getting more popular, you know, going from 25 views to 50 views. It's still, like, most people are like, oh no, my YouTube show crashed and failed. One day, we only got 50 views. And here we're like, all right, pop the champagne. Good times are going to clear up. Put on a happy face. No. So, but that's, you know, so being an artist is, it's weird. Because it's kind of who you are. You're born into it. I heard this guy talk about creative types in general. And they go, when a creative person gets to do what they love, that's the reward, the joy of being creative. If there's something really, you know, nourishing or something. Because the opposite is you wither and die. You put an artist in a suit and make him sit in a car for 8 hours every day and have a haircut he hates and do activities that are not creative, his soul will kind of wither up like a raisin. And again, Michael, you could talk about this better than I can. I mean, should I just... Nah, doesn't matter. Oh, la la la. Brandy Marie's here. She says, "Bonjour. Bonjour, Brandy. How lovely to see her this morning. Do you have your coffee?" Brandy Marie's here, sweetie. Bonjour, Brandy Marie. And Richard John is here. He's like, glad to hear. Jim Dunn gives us a thumbs up. Mino Gikashep. Kishep. Wisani is here. Wisani. Umbe Wisani. Wisani da. That was my grandma's calling, you know, like when you call in the cattle or something. My grandma would be like, "Umbe Wisani da. Come, let's eat." Or "Hurry up, let's eat." I don't even know what umbe means. It's just umbe. Brandy says, "Yes, LOL." Brandy Marie, "Bonjour, Natasha." Brandy Marie says, "Bonjour." Bonjour. Yeah. So, yeah. Mazinabi Ike Winnie. La la la. Hey, sweetie. Yeah? We got another call. Another call. We got to start blocking the phone. I don't want to turn this into a call-in show. Okay. We don't have enough staff. What line? It's on line 2. All right. Well, maybe it'll be somebody interesting. Caller, you're on line 2. Ah! BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO! Hey, Cookie, what's going on, brother?
Oh, not much. Me eat cookie and watch show.
Yeah. Are you enjoying the show so far?
Yeah, me like cartoons.
Yeah, I know you do. So how's the diet going? I hear you're trying to lay off the cookies and eat more vegetables.
You know, good days and bad days.
Yeah. It's hard to quit stuff, you know? I noticed you don't have any teeth.
Yeah, they all rot. They all rot from too much tooth decay.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
Okay. Gigawa bamin. Minawa.
Hey, yeah, see you later, Cookie.
Yeah.
All right. The Cookie Monster. He's up early. Yeah, I know. It's nice he called in. Yeah. Poor old Cookie Monster. He loves those cookies. Such a tortured soul, you know. Something happened to him too. I'm not sure if he's on the spectrum or what's up with his speech, but he's got some speech problems, doesn't he? I wonder what happened to him. Yeah, he sounds exactly like Animal from the Muppet Show. That might be cousins, or maybe they had the same brain condition. I don't know. A lot of those Sesame Street people, they've got speech problems. They don't know how to speak properly, and they don't seem to understand grammar either. I don't know how to do Elmo. Like, I can't do an impersonation, but he speaks like of himself in the third person, I think. You know, like, Elmo play, or something. And, tickle me, Elmo. Me sad, or something like that, you know. And you go, why are you talking so badly? Isn't this a children's show? Isn't it supposed to be educational? You can't be using that bad grammar. I seen it on a Sesame Street show. I seen that. There's a lot of people misuse seen. You know, well, to see. Oh, I seen your grandma. You have seen my grandmother. You saw my grandmother. Oh, I seen that. I think people are deliberately just kind of talking wrong. They want to see if anyone's going to correct them. You know, I seen a book on grammar. Not even. It's like, that's not even a sentence. Not even. We did a show once called Res Slang. You know, what are some of the terms on the res? So here are some slang terms you should know if you come to Leech Lake in northern Minnesota. The term not even is a term that usually, I think it's only girls that say it. I haven't heard many men say it. But, like, say you say something that Anishinaabe Indian woman doesn't agree with. She will say, not even. You know, if I say, it's not that women are paid less. It's that you guys earn less. You're lazy. Not even. That's how we debate the Anishinaabe feminists. It isn't that the patriarchy is keeping you down. It's that women choose not to work as many hours as men. And you take the easier jobs that pay less, like daycare worker or, hair salon, Being a plumber or a construction guy pays better. That's why men make more. That's all it is. Not even. I'm going on a march. Gonna get my rights. We're water protectors. It's like, yeah, okay. Not even. Yeah, we're gonna build this pipeline through your res. Not even. What else is a res slang? Well, there's the pointing with your lips, of course. If you ask for directions in Leech Lake, they're gonna go, well, you go up there, turn to the left. They'll never point with their fingers. They'll point with their lips. Studis. Studis. So let's say you're in a bar and somebody wants to fight you. There'll be that sound where the bar stool kind of goes out, and two guys will jump up, and then one guy will say, Skoden, Skoden, Skoden. Skoden is the Ojibwe word for let's go then. Let us go and have combat. Let us have a duel in the street. Skoden. And then the other guy will say, Studis. Studis is the Anishinaabe word for let us do this. Let us go then. Let us do this. If the res slang was just better, like nicer English, I think a lot of fights could be averted. Let us go then. Let us do this. Fist to cuffs? How come the Irish people always, they put their foot, like the Fighting Irish guy? I always wanted to see a battle between the Fighting Irish and the Fighting Sioux. Who would win? But now the Fighting Irish has nobody to fight with. Just a bunch of animals. I wonder if the Fighting Irish misses the Fighting Sioux. He had a brother kind of there. The Irish, stereotyping that they're violent people. And the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Those guys could be like, well, at least the Sioux know how we feel. We're a peaceful people. Don't want any trouble, and everyone stereotypes us as, violent. Alcoholics, that too. The Sioux and the Irish, both stereotyped as fighters and drinkers. And, if you say that to their face, either one of them, they'll be like, Skoden. What, you think we're all just a bunch of drunken bar brawlers? Skoden, let's do this. So there's that. What's some more res slang? Let's do this. Oh, snagging. Like when you snag your sweater. If you go to a powwow and you pick up somebody, I snagged last night. Or you bring your girlfriend home to meet your traditional reservation parents. It's like, mother, father, I would like to introduce you to my snag. This is Jennifer. I snagged her. Do you snag this man to be your lawfully wedded husband? I do. Do you take this snag? Do you take this skag to be your snag? They still say skag. That sounds meaner than it is. Let's do this. Let's see, what's another? Just putting then on the end of everything. Let's go then. I don't know. Hoa. Actually, even that, people ask me what hoa means. It's so, it's like, well, we use it as a comma. Hoa. Now, actually, if we use it as anything, we use it as an exclamation point. An exclamation point you can put at any point in a sentence. And you can put it in the beginning. Hoa. Hoa, this is really good. You know, wild rice hot dish grandma. Hoa. Hoa, she's a really good cook. You know, or you can put it at the end. Oh, this this fried bread taco is cold and greasy and gross. Oh, this I paid $6 for. Cold piece of greasy, what is this? Deep fried dough, smothered in greasy hamburger. How is this Native American food? You know, back in the traditional ways of the fry breaders, of the deep fryers. I come from the deep fried clan. We gotta do something about fry bread. Maybe it's time to get rid of fry bread. There was this TV show where I forget what it's called, but like some super fit lady would go into a community and help them learn how to exercise and eat, eat right, and so that they could look like her. And so she would go into, communities, and like one time she went to a birthday party, and she took the birthday cake and said, "Nope, this is no longer anything you guys do," and she threw it away in front of everybody. And they're like, "Oh, why? I can't believe she threw away a birthday cake." She goes, "Yeah, you can either eat birthday cake or you can be thin. You can't have both." But then the show goes on the road, and they come to the res, and she goes to a community center, and they're having a dinner there, and they show they actually film a guy praying in the language and that, and they bring out the fry bread, fry bread tacos. And she's like, "No, this is no longer in your diet. You can't have this." And she threw away a whole tray of fry bread in front of everybody. And people were nobody was smiling. Nobody said anything. Just typical Indian. Just steaming, mad, talk about it for years later, but don't say anything to her face. Like, "Hey, lady, that's not cool. Get out of here. That's our fry bread you just threw away. You can take your 6-pack abs and your masculine physique. It's roly-poly, commod bods. You're gonna fish this fry bread out of the garbage. You're not welcome here. You're not of our clan. You're not of our clan. You're not part of our damn." So, yeah. But I guess my point is, she was right. Fry bread's gross. It's fattening. It's greasy. It'll give you zits. It'll give you a big old belly. And it's overrated. Tacos in general are overrated. Is there any... It's like a hamburger with less effort. You couldn't even be bothered to put a patty in there and to make bread. It's like, no, we're just going to roll it up in this unleavened bread. Oh, it's a taco. It's like, no, it's called a fold-over sandwich. Down with fried bread tacos. That's what I say. Shady Size says, "Isn't Notre Dame a French term? Our old lady is fighting Irish, eh?" Yeah, the old lady, Notre Dame. Notre Dame. Yeah, I totally butchered that with a Minnesota accent. Notre Dame. I think over in France they call it Notre Dame. Here's a knock knock joke that little kids like. Knock knock. Who's there? Madame. Madame who? Open the door. It's stuck on Madame foot. Oh wait, nah, I screwed it up. But kids love it if you sneak in a bad word like Madame. You know. The school guest speaker can't get in trouble for swearing if he's the one saying it in the front of the class. That's what you're all about. So yeah. Mazinabi Ike Winini to be an artist. Sad. So we got to quit glorifying these weirdos in history that were just clearly crazy, like Andy Warhol. He was a young man who wore a gray wig. I don't know why. He thought it would make him cool, and it did. All the celebrities loved Andy Warhol. And his paintings were just big old prints of Campbell soup. Just dumb stuff like that. Or prints of like other celebrities. Oh, look, here's Marilyn Monroe. In 4 different colors. Marilyn Monroe. I'm an artist. So, can you draw? No. But I got funny clothes on. And Van Gogh cuts his ear off. Who else is crazy that they always celebrate? Was Picasso crazy? I have a Picasso print in my living room. One with the old guitar guy. That's the only Picasso I like. The other ones are whatever. What's that dude's name? The Persistence of Memory. Became famous because he was friends with Alice Cooper. Salvador Dali. You know. Oh, I'm an artist. Look, I painted a clock dripping. At least he could paint. I'll give Salvador Dali that much. At least his paintings looked like something. And he had a skill that nobody else... I mean, a lot of people can do it, but the average person can't just paint a clock that well. But you're not a real artist until you can paint an alien drawing yourself. Mazinabi Ike Winini. And this has been your Ojibwe word of the day. Sweetie, you want to get up here and say hello to the people? Yeah, sure. All right. Well, hey, that's all I wanted to talk about, being an artist. And I'm going to let Natasha take over. Hey, Nija, you want to do me a solid? What's that? Can you carry me over there? Sure. All right. I will see you again. Gigawabamin. Minowa. Hoa. Oh, go. Hey. All right. I got the audience warmed up for you, sweetie.
Oh, thanks. What should I talk about?
Oh, I don't know. You could sing a song, or you could, maybe you could respond to some of my generalizations on feminism.
Oh, I don't got any comment on that.
Are you a feminist?
I'm feminine. I'm the feminist. Meaning I'm the most feminine of the world.
That's not what that means.
I know.
If you don't get on camera soon, the people are gonna leave.
I know. I gotta get over there. Hurry up, will you, Michael?
I'm trying. I gotta put your hand on.
Okay. Don't go away, you guys. We're coming back. Michael's just taking his sweet time here. All right, very good. Sunny day. Everything's A-okay. On my way to where the air is new. My voice is a little rough this morning. Okay, get rid of this image. Boom. Bonjour, everybody. Hello. Natasha Envision a Cause for any new viewers. I am Natasha. And, yeah. So today, I would like to discuss feminism. It is time that women get the right to vote. When will we rise up and demand equality? No, just kidding. There's some people who are still fighting for the same for things they already have. We want equality. Okay. There's so much stuff I could say right now, but I kind of feel like you should have been saying it. Because I'm just a pretty girl. I'm probably not the person to go off and make fun of feminism. But I am wearing my hat. Do you notice that? I'm wearing that famous hat from our march. No, it's just a pink hat. La, la, la. Let's see who's here. Richard John, BOOZHOO, Richard. Earl Schleb. He can paint any car for $89.99. Yeah, those are the painters I really am impressed with. People who can paint houses and cars. Daniel Black. It's Natasha time. That's right. Brandy Marie's here with hearts and sending love. Brandy Marie's sending her love. Jessica says, good morning, Natasha. Good morning, Jessica. And, okay. So, where are my notes? I stayed up all night thinking, what would I like to discuss on the show today with my girlfriends? All the single ladies. That's kind of one of the ironic things about being a strong, independent woman like myself. As women, we want a man who makes good money, is a provider, a protector, is, taller than us, stronger than us. We want somebody, but we also want to be equals. But I gotta be honest with you. No, this doesn't work. Michael, you got a whole comedy routine you're hoping I would say.
All right, well, here's the deal.
Get out of here. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm suddenly blocking on what I want to talk about. Sunny day. Mustn't it be Egan? Mustn't it be Ike when any... Are there any artists here who are women? There's a lot of people who do crafts who are women, and they think of themselves as artists. I'm an artist. I make clothing. It's like, no, you're a seamstress. I'm an artist. I make, I bead, moccasins. It's like, well, kinda. Yeah, I guess that's sort of an art. I don't know. You know what it is, too? There's that one element of art where there's an inspiration. There's that spiritual element. If you are gifted with an inspiration, that's art, I think. I don't know. What am I talking about? I don't know. Just go with it. What do you think I should talk about?
Well, Mazina B. Ike Winini is the word of the day. And I don't think we have any other callers calling in today. Let me check the lines. Nope.
Okay. So what do you guys want to know? I'm fresh out of ideas. What are we going to do? Brandy Marie used to draw, but never called myself an artist. Yeah. It's a term that people respect so much that you feel like they have to earn it. Like you're not really an artist until you're good enough on some level. I get it. But we tell every kid, you're an artist, to make them feel good. But you know what bothers me is when they start using the term artist for like, oh, I work at Subway. I'm a sandwich artist. It's like, no, I gotta draw a line. You can't call that art. It's just putting a sandwich together. Yes, it takes some creativity. You're creating a sandwich. Pat yourself on the back. Oh, I'm a creator. I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I am a sandwich artist. Notice how I blended the browns and the reds. You know, I felt inspired to create this art. What was the other thing that people think is art that's not? Don't get me started on tattoos. Michael, didn't you judge a tattoo contest once?
Yeah.
Did you see a lot of good art?
No, I saw a whole bunch of skulls and, like medieval fantasy drawing stuff. It took some skill, but it was all pretty lame.
Yeah. Most tattoos are not art. I hate to break it to you guys. You know. That's why I liked, was it Daniel? Were you the one that actually had just a phrase on your arm? It was like, fear not the past, fear not the future, weep not the past. Something like that. I think if I was ever going to get a tattoo, it'd be a saying like that. You know, like, keep on trucking. But yeah, art. Everybody wants to paint the world. Sunny day. I thought that my home was my castle. La 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 la. Hey, Steven!
Yes, Natasha.
What do you think about being on the cover of, Gibberish?
I take it as quite an honor. I've never quite understood it. Maybe Michael would like to talk about that.
Yeah. Michael, do you just want to get on camera and talk to the people about your art? You really could have more to say about this than I do. All right. Well, hey, everybody. I just wanted to stop in and say BOOZHOO. Thank you so much for tuning in. For the rest of the show. Oh, we only have 10 minutes left, so what am I talking about? Michael, why don't you come on and talk to the people?
Yeah, but I didn't fix my hair.
Quit worrying about your hair, will ya? All right. Okay, and would you carry me over there, sweetie?
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'll see you later. Geek 'em up a min, minawa, ho. All right, I got on camera, then I realized I had nothing to talk about.
Yeah, that's gonna happen, I suppose.
I hope you have something more interesting to talk about.
How about I get Steven up there? They might like to meet Steven.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Again, I did it. Hello, everybody. BOOZHOO ni Janshanabedoog. BOOZHOO in Dinaway Maganadoog. I'd like to introduce you to Steven. You'll notice that he appears a lot in. Yeah, this will work. So this is Steven, and Steven is on a lot of my books and cartoons and stuff. And so Steven, tell me, how do you feel about being, on the cover of OJIBWE? Let me tell you something. I find it a great honor. Okay, I can't do it. It is a great honor to be on the OJIBWE book. I have to say, I do not understand it. Why, Michael? Why? Can you answer once and for all? Why did you choose to have someone like me represent a cartoon book on Ojibwe language? I fail to see what the connection is. Well, Steven, the thing is, you're probably the easiest thing to draw. Drawing an alien is sort of like drawing Spider-Man, but you just color in the eyes black, and it's I've always liked gray aliens. We talked about this the other day on the show. Gray aliens are cute and terrifying. And I suspect there's something to them that we still don't know. I don't believe in aliens from other planets in the way that movies have talked about it. But I do think they look kind of cool. So anyway, Steven sounds semi-Japanese. Yeah, Steven was actually made in China. So I don't think he knows the difference in the accents at all. And it's a stereotype, but whatever. So gibberish. Yeah, this was the book. It has a whole bunch of it's just bright comic strips. It's a good gift to give somebody who's somehow related to Ojibwe. And it has like the seasons and the comments. And then it has the little cutie story. It's in black and white. That's a story. It's like a bedtime story you can read to somebody. And then there's coloring pages in the back. Just a bunch of animals. Gibberish on sale. And let's see. Oh, I should grab. I'm finally dropping off my books in the mail. We got some new subscribers this month on Patreon. And what Patreon people get is like Snow on Skin is the Ojibwe language reference guide. And for people who sign up for $10 a month, they get one of these. And for $20 a month, you get one of these. Dog in Ma Ingen, which is a counting book to 10 in Ojibwe language, illustrated by me. But yeah, so, this whole endeavor came about because I was a dreamer and my heart's of gold and I had to run away high so I wouldn't come home low. That's for Richard John or whoever told me they were a headbanger. Miyagi, last name Miyagi, like Mr. Miyagi. When I was in high school, I looked just like the Karate Kid. Stephen Stone, yeah, okay. It's Leon, yeah, Stephen A. Leon. Thank you, Jessica. So Stephen A. Leon was a character that I came up with because I was drawing so many cartoons, and I wanted, sometimes you just have to get practical with your decisions about drawing if you have deadlines. And so I started drawing Spider-Man as a kid. And so to draw a round head with that kind of shaped eyes, Steven is basically Spider-Man without the lines, and instead of the white, whatever, I colored in and gave him eyelids. But, it was a dream as a kid to be a cartoonist, what I always called it. And now that I look back, I go, well, I was just always a creative kid and an artist in the classical sense. Like, I have to draw or play music or do something creative or I wither and die. And so a lot of my discontent throughout most of my life and until this show really was this desire to somehow make it. I didn't even know what that meant fully as an artist. And I would call it being a rock star cartoonist. It's to somehow be able to get to that level where I could feel like I really was a true artist. And your grandmother will say, well, you are an artist. Because it doesn't matter if you make money on it or if anyone knows if you make art, you're an artist. So be happy. It's like, well, yeah, but that's not quite it. And it's like a quest you're on. And, who's ever watching this, you might have your own version of this, where you're like, yeah, I'm a bass player. I'm a great jazz bass player. And nobody knows, and I'm not even in a band, and I dream of just playing jazz bass. And if I could just, and there's some level, if you were in a jazz quartet that played once a month, maybe that would make you feel validated for all the whatever. So with this show and some of the gigs we've had, I think we just had better advertising. And so the books have sold twice as much, which is still, some people say, well, you're still a huge failure for all the years and effort and money you've put into it. You're probably not out of the red just yet. But on an artistic level, it feels like, no, we arrived. We got here. It's set up. I have a store with books in it that a person that I may never meet can go to and click and magically somehow get this book that I spent, I don't know, how many weeks illustrating, thinking about, contemplating, making copies, doing different versions, learning how to self-publish, and buying a computer, everything. Once the whole process was completed, and I find myself here looking like a guy who, deserves to be selling books, then I don't know. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm bragging too much. This is just what's coming to my head at this moment. And there it is. It's 7 o'clock. So, thank you so much for tuning in to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, a podcast about, Ojibwe language and culture, basic ramblings on whatever comes into my head at the time. One thing I learned about today's show, reflecting back, is that Natasha can't do the comedy routines that NANABOOZHOO and I can. I have to think ahead. Anyway, Jim Dunn, live long and prosper. Richard John, miigwech ganawabieg. Thank you for watching. Jessica, thank you for knowing that Stephen's last name was Leon. Like that. It's hilarious. Stuff I play with people out there in YouTube land. I've learned about it. Daniel Black is here. He says, you're doing a fab job. Keep it up. Bama P, Crew X. Thank you, Daniel. Jessica, thank you. Later, crew. All right. I'm going to maja. I'm going to leave. Miigwech ganawabieg. Thank you for watching. And I will see you again. Gigawabamin. Minawa. Hawa.